Welcome to the Online Business Academy podcast. We've got Coach Michael, Coach Jav, and today, guys, we're just going to do a bit more of a chilled one and talk about
why some clients should be avoided, or they may not be good clients. Right? When you first start this online coaching thing, you're going to feel like, I need everything I can get, right? Any client I can get. And it's understandable, right? Sometimes you might want to pick, but eventually you want to fizzle out from that and you want to be able to only select clients that are a right fit for your business, and are good quality clients. So we're going to go over like what makes a good quality client, how to find them, and how to avoid the others and when you should.
And this is important because when you start taking in people into your business, you don't want people that are not the right fit for you, because then it ends up in people wanting refunds and people cancelling their direct debits. And trust me, we've been there. Like, we're not perfect, innit? Like, we've made mistakes. We want to make sure that you understand everything to avoid making the same mistakes that we did, because it's not nice when you see that refund and you're like, so it's important. So I'll kind of go first and talk about what I think you should be looking for in a client. Let's talk about green flags and red flags. I think that's a good way to separate it. So I'll start off with one green flag that I look for, and it's generally going to be someone who fits one of the main pillars of your niche. So, for example, let's say my niche at the moment is I work with a lot of guys who work in the sales sector. So there's kind of a few things there. They're either a busy professional, they're usually probably fathers, and they work in a profession that they probably sat down in front of the computer a lot. And also they also have a very client-facing role because they're also in front of people. One of the pillars is obviously a male, probably a father. One of those things have to take place for them to fit my program. So that means that would make them a green flag for me. As long as they fit in one of those pillars, it's a green flag. Any other green flags?
So one that I'm going to go on to is that one that I don't think a lot of people talk about at all, really, is that when I'm looking for a client, I'm looking for an element or signs of mental stability. All right? I know that's going to sound crazy or whatever, but it's the truth. So especially when you're in the low pricing points, when you're first starting out and you're charging a little bit low, like, maybe around £100, between £100 and £200, right? Any lower than that, you shouldn't really be charging that. But around those price points, they are going to be, your program is going to attract, like we were saying in our previous episode, everyone, right? Because a lot more people can afford that than if we start pushing up the prices, right? So what does that mean? That means that you're going to get some people that are mentally not ready for this transformation, all right? They're not ready for even online coaching. That can be a big toll on your business, right? And that's a red flag as well. So this is a bit of two and one, yeah? So
the green flag is that they're mentally ready.
Mentally ready. They're mentally ready.
How do you describe somebody who's mentally ready?
So somebody who's mentally ready is somebody who's not looking for this to fix every part of their life. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Who's not looking for it to fix it.
Looking for it to fix every part of their life. So yes, if you get your transformation and you lose the weight and whatnot, it is going to affect every part of your life. But it's not going to fix every part of your life. It's not going to fix finances. It's not going to fix relationship. It's not going to fix, right? Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? So somebody who comes in and just and starts vomiting everything about their life to you and why everything's wrong is usually a sign of a client that is not going to be good, because they're looking for more than just online coaching. Right, they might be looking for therapy. They're looking for some whatever. And don't get me wrong, like you're probably used to that as a PT. Sometimes you got to dip in the pond and give people a bit extra. But you, especially online, where you're not going to be with them face to face, you're not going to be able to be that for everybody. So you need someone who's stable, mature, and understands that this is a relationship, but a working relationship where you give them the guidelines, you give them that coaching, but they have to follow it, and they have to be stable.
So basically, you wouldn't work with anybody who's got any kind of mental health issues.
To be honest with you,
I'm not trying to get you cancelled.
No, it's not about cancelled. This is about you being honest. And no, not like a proper not really. I would avoid it if I'm honest with you. If somebody said I've been through that and I've come out of it, then yes, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay to give you a chance. But I've actually had a time where I had a client that was like bipolar and had like some mental health issues. And the truth of the matter is, unless you are qualified for that, unless that's also your field, you should probably stay away.
That's what I was going to go to next. I was going to say, it's probably best if you're not qualified to actually.
If you're not
handle
qualified, it's probably best to. And
it's
then
not.
and a lot of people have undiagnosed things. So, and so that's my take. Someone who's just stable mentally. If you get it, you get it. Hopefully, you do.
Okay, cool.
Do one more, one or two?
Nah, I got another green flag.
Yeah, go on.
I think another green flag is somebody who is good with technology. And this is important, man. Obviously, this is also going to be related a little bit to your target market and your ideal client. But I found that working with people who are not good with technology and you're doing online coaching is very, very difficult.
Interesting.
Because we're using systems that you might be using Google Sheets, you might be using TrueCoach, you might be using My PT Hub, you might be using Trainerize, and it's all based on data, right? Because it's data-driven coaching. I need to know your numbers. I need to know how much you weigh. I need to know how much. I need to see your progress pictures. I need to see how much weight you're lifting. If you're dealing with someone that says that they can't use an app or they can't use whatever, it just becomes very, very difficult. And it's funny, I was just listening to a podcast last night from another business coach, and he was saying that basically there was a point where he just needed clients. And sometimes you need clients, you just got to take people in. And he took a client in who said that they don't like using tech and they don't want to use the app. Can they be coached through email? And so he said, yeah, cool. So the way they did it was like they do an email once a week, check in through email, everything email, training plans email. Yeah, obviously you would know that that's a mad way to coach somebody. But so they've done that. About 4 months in, the person said, I can't do it anymore. Cool, cancelled. Then the person emailed them over Christmas and they said, I've just realized that everything you did was a scam. All you did was take, this is what the person says in the podcast. He said, all you did was take my favorite foods and show me how to put them in a calorie deficit. That was it. And that's because the guy he just wanted the clients at the time, so he agreed to coach him by email. Obviously now, no one would do that, but so it's important that a green flag for me is somebody who is good with technology. Like, that is a green flag, because if you're going to be an online coach, it does require you to be able to use these little things right here and use them properly as well. So yeah, any more green flags? I mean, I got loads of green flags, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I got a green flag. I'll do. So I guess we're doing green and red at the same time, because the someone who's red is just not the green version, right? My example of a green flag is looking, and look, key thing is when you're obtaining clients, so you're on a sales call, whatever, you want to get to know someone, all right? You have to know them and you have to know things about. That's why we're able to pick out certain points. Looking for people who are a bit organized or show levels of being organized or being just not all over the place, right? Or driven. Looking for clues within what they do. That's what I found.
Like work-wise,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what, because in my mind as I'm saying this, I've got a client who's a lawyer, right? She's just done everything by the book. Been with me like over 2 years, coming up to 2 years now. You know, like any human being, it's not always great, but she's lost loads of weight, whatever. But, the signs was in what she does normally. She's a lawyer. So you've got to be certain, the type of person to even do that.
What about students? I've got a couple students.
And they're very good clients.
On point.
They're on point clients. Yeah. So what did they do? Do you know what they study? Like, give me two examples.
One guy plays football and he studies sports management.
Okay.
Or sports business.
Okay, yeah, go on.
And the other one, she was a master's student. I don't know what she was studying.
There you go.
But she was an athlete though.
So whatever, exactly. So those are athletes. So whatever the person does, looking for clues in what they do. Okay. And this might sound crazy, but you have to start picking this up because, for example, I will be cautious before taking someone on who does social work. If I'm being honest with you, certain particular types, right?
Why?
Social work, yeah, is. And I'm talking about people that are dealing with people with mental health, people who are if you know about it, like on the call. So basically,
Oh, yeah.
you can get called up at any time because, like, do you get what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
like
say?
you're needed.
You're
Yeah.
needed and whatnot, or like, so you don't have a strict 9 to 5, whatnot. Shift workers in general. But now this goes into like your niche. I know a guy. I see a guy on Instagram who is the shift workers coach. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? So his thing is he's all about that. He obviously relates to it. He's done it before, so he can work with that. I understand. But if that's not your niche, you gotta know. And I think that's what a lot of these green flags and red flags derive from. We know our niche. So we know what we don't like and who we don't really wanna, work with. So that's kind of where that comes from.
All right, cool. So let's go more specifically into some red flags then, and I'll go.
Well, rather than red flags, I think, look, we can talk about good and bad all day long, innit? And I think that as a PT, you're not new to the game, so you kind of have a decent understanding of what's a bad client anyway.
No, they don't, man.
Online is different,
there's
bro. Differences. So we'll do a couple.
Online is different.
Let's do this. We'll do a couple red flags, and then what we'll do is more so how to position yourself and in a way and attract the clients that you want.
Yeah.
And
because online is different to PT, bro.
100%. It is different. Yeah.
And one thing I'll say, and I guess this is something that PTs and online will be able to relate to, is a red flag in a prospect is someone that is constantly talking to you about price. If you're constantly badgering about price, then they're probably not going to be a good client. And the reason I say this is you might be able to get them on a lower price ticket, or you might offer them a discount, but they're usually the ones that cause the most headache and actually cause you that they require more time, and they're paying you less if you do them a little discount deal or something like that. So my advice on that is, if someone keeps pestering about price or they keep pushing you to try and give them a discount, they're probably not going to be the best fit, and they're probably going to require more work than the people that pay more. Because
that's true.
What I've found is, there's a saying that a lot of the big fitness coaches say is like, there's no skin in the game when you do it for cheap or do it for free. When people pay, they pay attention. That's the reality. So I've noticed, and this is a personal thing, that when people have paid more money, they actually stick to it longer and they listen to everything you say. Versus when in the past, when I started off, I was just trying to get people in the door, doing discounts here and there. Those are the people that are causing me the most headache. Yeah. Not doing their weekly assessments, not doing their progress pictures. Like, so yeah, at the end of the day, obviously you got to get what you're worth. But my advice, a red flag, is someone keeps pressing you about price.
Let me chime in on that. And another way to handle that is this. It may sound contradictory, but that's life, right? That's his life. Because we're saying you got to get clients good. Sometimes you just got to get clients. And then we're also saying those are not the great clients if they're paying low ticket. So how you do this is, when you have a good understanding, and you get understanding by listening to business coaches like us and other business coaches, whatnot, you might charge them less, that's fine, but they have to know that they're getting less. You understand? You've got what you charge, a set fee. It should be, value. You should be giving them a lot of value, and they should be paying a fraction of what that's worth. Because if they was paying what a life-changing transformation is worth, they'll be paying £100,000, whatever. But they're paying a fraction, and whatever price you've set at it, if that's $250 a month, if that's $300, if that's $150, $175, that's your standard price. If somebody cannot afford that and you want to make it affordable to them because you need a client at the moment, or you just think they're a good fit or whatever, they need to know they're not getting the full package. And that's going to secure you from doing what Javen was saying, where they're taking more of your time. Because then you always be able to remind them that, sorry, when we spoke at the beginning, I let you know that if you wanted to get the full thing, X is how much it would have cost. Do you understand? So it doesn't mean you're giving them a bad service, but it just means that it's basically a communication and touch points. Right. So if somebody's paying more, $250 or whatever and above, then they obviously get to talk to you, or however much is your full price. Then you might give them a bit extra communication, one-to-one messaging ability, maybe some regular calls with you on Zoom, stuff like that, right? Whatever, maybe one in person. You can make whatever you want to do. If somebody's coming at a discount, you've done them a favor, because that's your price, that's lower. But instead, you're gonna give them less, all right? So it's not really a favor. They're getting what they paid for. that's going to save you. And that's kind of how to mitigate that.
Yeah, and I guess the more advanced you get as well, you can kind of have different packages, which I wouldn't do that at the start, but
No, just take away some things for now.
As you get going, you know, you start to have different packages and whatnot. And
just don't give them the same thing. The person, this is a big lesson. The person who's paying a third of how much your actual program costs, and the person who's paying the full price shouldn't get the same thing, and they shouldn't get your same amount of time. That's how you kind of keep the balance.
Yeah, cool. And I think it's the red flags are opposite of the green flags, basically. I guess to move on to what we was going to say,
some
techniques to attract the right people. Yeah, so I think that one thing that you can do to attract the right person is obviously with your marketing, right? And that's really the key. And if you think about big businesses and big brands and what they do to attract people and their target market, it's pretty obvious and it's very specific. So I think about something like, as a kid, where did my mum go to get stuff for my nieces and nephews? Mothercare, right? That shop Mothercare. Why? Because it's pretty obvious what they do. Mothercare, like, it's for babies. You get stuff in there. With your marketing, you should be pretty clear with what you're doing. For example, if you are a female trainer who helps girls grow their glutes, you know, your marketing, your social media should be pretty obvious that that's what you do. So your bio should be obvious. People should know, okay, I help women grow their glutes in 90 days or whatever it is. Like, your social media, your reels that you make, your videos, your stories, your emails, all your campaigns, all your marketing should be pretty obvious. And once you make it obvious, those are the people that are going to reach out to you. It doesn't mean that just those people are going to reach out to you, because you might get other people, like we mentioned. But if you're pretty clear with it, then those people are going to come in. And then also, when you do things like direct campaigns and stuff like that, you know, you want to outline, okay, this is only for people that are serious. This is only for people that are motivated. This is only for people that are committed. Yeah. That way you get less of the jokers and the people that are flaky. And so you want to make that pretty clear when you're connecting with people, whether that's Instagram stories, Facebook stories, LinkedIn, whatever it may be. Make that clear that, you know, you only really want to work with people that are committed to the journey. So that's one way to attract the right people.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to give you a bulletproof. I'm going to just run through four quick ones, and then you just tell me what you think on them, yeah? So first one is basically what you said, niching, all right? So making sure you have an ideal person in mind is going to get rid of the people who you don't have in mind. So all the things that I talked about were red flags for me and my clients will now be something I communicate into my content, that I like people that work this, or I don't like, whatever. So niching is number one if you want to find the right client, all right? Talk to the person you want to talk to. And that actually also leads into the second, which is put people off that you don't want to talk to. This is something that we learned from one of our mentors as well, that like make content every now and again where you're anti something. What is it that other coaches like, or other people are banging on about that you just don't like? It might be fasting, it might be keto, it might be whatever. Kind of do that and it will piss some people off and make them not want to come to you, but that's what you want. You want to kind of exclude some people, all right? It shows, one, that you don't need everybody, and two, it just gives you the right, it puts those people off, right? So that's a good thing. Price people out. So that, it might sound counterproductive to, put up your prices sometimes or whatever, but the benefit is you price certain people out, so you don't even attract certain people because they know that I can't really pay for this. And usually people that can't pay for it, or they're not willing to invest. If someone's not willing to invest, nothing worse than jumping on a sales call with someone who got no money to invest. What are you doing on this sales call, right? What are you doing on this call? There's certain calls that you might have for that, right? I don't know. But like generally, it's like if you're not looking to invest in your health and fitness, right? Like why are you on the call? So price them out. You can do that through different ways. I think if your branding is really good, that's one way to do it, because people just know that this looks like something official. It's not going to be some cheap stuff, right? And then you can also pull it into your booking link. This is something we did for a while. I don't know if we're still doing it. Still doing it?
I've got different type of forms. So
okay, you got it on.
I got it on some and some I don't. So depending on what platform I use.
Yeah. We used to do that a lot. I had done that, but recently. But it does help. does help because of where we've been marketing on LinkedIn and whatnot. It doesn't need as much, but at the same time, especially if you're on IG and Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think if you're on Instagram and Facebook, it's important. Yeah. And what we're talking about here is basically when someone applies to book a call with you, on that form, just have a small question. Are you in a position to invest? Or if you know for 100% fact you're going to get a result out of this, what could you invest in? You might put £200 a month, £150 a month, £300 a month, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Just so you can get a gauge. And some people will say they can't put anything. Then it's up to you if you want to take that call or not. I still take the call, but what I do is I ask them before I get on a call, like, are you like flat broke or are you just waiting to see the value of the program before deciding? And then I'll get a bit of an answer from them because sometimes they're flat broke. If they're flat broke, I'll be like, look, unfortunately, this is not a free program, so I'll send you over. I'll send you over a guide that you can use. Obviously, this isn't a free program, and so they're like, okay, cool, they get it because the further you go, the more you need to protect your time because it's very discouraging to be sitting on a call for 45 minutes, an hour, when you could have just found out that the person couldn't afford it anyway beforehand, right? So it's important you pre-vet people. And that's always going to be a refined process. Like it's never going to be perfect. Mine ain't perfect right now, but it's getting better. And it's always getting better because I'm always refining it.
100%. I think the last thing I'll touch on, it's not really about avoiding or whatever anymore. It's just a mindset, all right? And one of, I think the mentor just before this one, we don't like to name our mentors because we can't do all of that. But the one just before this put something very valuable in my brain whereby, you know, you're going to be quite invested in what you're doing at the beginning, right? Every time you message someone, every time you have a sales call, whatever. But there's always like another 100, 500 people out there waiting that need your services and are serious and are willing. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? So you got to keep that in mind and you got to know that you don't need everybody. All right?
It's an abundance mindset, isn't it? It's like when you get your heart broken, you know that there's always more fish in the sea.
Exactly.
Same with the clients. If she says, or if not she, if the client says no, you know, you got to have confidence in yourself. Like, okay, well, there's other.
Not even the says the no. Like, I mean, you have to know your personal situation. But when we talk about sometimes you need clients, you just have to like be able to make those decisions with yourself. But you know, based on your own circumstance. But just know that there are loads of clients out there. There's loads of people that need yours. And there's a famous billionaire, Dan Pena, and is one of his good mottos, and he even has a ring of a frog. You got to kiss a lot of frogs in this game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got to kiss. There's going to be a lot of time wasters and all of that stuff. Like, it is what it is, you know what I mean? We get them to this day. To this day. But you got to keep going and you got to know that, look, I might, if someone looks like they're going to be trouble, like they're showing you signs of trouble on that call,
stay away.
Mate, like, you know those calls where you're on a call with them and they're just, I'm going to be trouble, you know, I'm going to be trouble. That's basically what they're saying. They're not saying it. So I'm going to be trouble. You're going to be trouble? Get out of it. Because they're going to waste your time.
And it's going to hurt you longer. Like, I've been through some where it's like,
my day. We might have to do one story each. No. One story each. I've got a story for them.
You do the story. I'm not doing the story because we've got to wrap this up. But you do the story.
I've got a story for them. Yeah, I've got a story for them.
So this is the last year we wrap this up.
This is when we like, not when we started, but this is like a year ago or so. Yeah. So I'm working with this client and things are going all right, they're going all well, but there was a lot of signs of like attitude at the beginning, and I'm very friendly and a jokey person anyway. So I will go back and forth banter with clients. That's normal, right? But sometimes you don't realize that it is actually like, you know, you don't want someone to be taking shots at what you do or you've got to make sure that even if you're having fun with the clients, the business side is professional. Do you know what I mean? And they know that the business is professional. But literally, you know, I delivered a great service to this person, and after like a 1 hour call of just helping this person because they wanted extra help and whatnot, they literally cancelled the direct debit. Literally after the call, we just had like 1 hour call, giving that information, blah, blah, blah. And that, it teaches you stuff, innit? And sometimes you're going to have to go through a few of these things. It gives you thick skin, but it lets you know that, look, give what you can give, but don't over deliver, don't get me wrong, but don't you know, you have to keep it professional, and you have to try and understand when someone is not right for your business, because it will end up costing you.
It will cost you, trust me.
Trust me.
And, you know, you get people that will sign up and they won't even do a workout.
Yeah, they don't do.
And then all of a sudden you get an email 2 weeks later, hey, can I have my money back?
Yeah.
And they just told you that this is the best thing they've ever heard, and they ain't done anything.
Yeah. But then you know what? Like, there's a lot of negative. It might sound off-putting, but there's much more great clients.
Yeah, there's more. Obviously, there's more.
We both have full businesses running. Of good clients that do their workouts, like that follow that like, you know, go check our testimonials on our own pages. Like, they fully appreciate and whatnot. And when you get those, that they will make up for everything. That's it.
Yeah, cool, man. All right, well, those are the things to look for in your clients and how to avoid bad clients, because honestly, that is going to make your business having a good client pipeline, getting yourself to 30, 40 clients, and then scaling beyond that. It's going to be very, very important. So you want to make sure you're enjoying the work that you do, because at the end of the day, as a coach, you want to wake up in the morning and be motivated to do your check-ins, check people's weight, give them updates, blah, blah, blah. So if you need help with building your actual business, we're still pushing the webinar 0 to 5K. So if you don't have any money, if you're still a PT on the gym floor, if you're trying to go online, this webinar is only 25, 30 minutes, and we go in depth on what platforms to use, what content to post, how to message people, and so on and so forth. And that really is a starter pack for you to get your first 5K. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, check the description of this video if it's on YouTube, and in the wherever this is posted, Spotify, Apple, the description, the link will be there. Download it and listen to it and watch it and take notes, and then come back to us and let us know how much progress you've made by implementing all those things that we've done. And at this stage as well, we are taking on a couple people for our mentorship program. So if you are interested, make sure you head over to our Instagram page at OHB Academy and drop us a DM, man, and we can have a little conversation to see where you are at with your current business and where you'd like to get to, man. Apart from that, anything else? That's it, really?
No, that's it, man. That's it. Stay away from those shit clients, yeah?
All right, guys. OHB Academy, over and out.